10:23 a.m., June 19, 1944, Philippine Sea. Vice Admiral Marc Mitscher stands on USS Lexington's flag bridge, 5'7", 57 years old, wearing his trademark long-billed fishing cap. Radar shows 150 Japanese aircraft inbound at 200 miles per hour. Range, 70 miles. 18 minutes to contact. Mitscher commands 15 carriers, 7 battleships, 900 aircraft, 100,000 men. The Japanese close to 60 miles, 50 miles. They're circling, regrouping. His carriers point east, steaming away from the threat at 25 knots. Every carrier captain floods the radio, requesting permission to launch. Mitscher doesn't respond. 80% of carrier forces caught unprepared suffer catastrophic damage. Mitscher has 40 fighters airborne over Guam, 120 miles away, too far to help. He has 200 more on deck, engines cold, wings folded. The Japanese will reach visual range in 11 minutes. Standard procedure requires 15 minutes to turn into wind and launch. He needs 4 minutes physics won't give him. In 11 minutes, 150 bombers will release 300 bombs onto ships packed with fuel and ammunition. His staff watches, waiting. He's motionless. But Mitscher is about to launch 240 fighters in 13 minutes, 2 minutes faster than possible. He'll intercept at 70 miles, where doctrine says impossible. In 8 hours, his pilots will shoot down 350 Japanese aircraft, sink 3 carriers, and permanently destroy Japan's carrier capability. Because in 1910, a failing midshipman learned that sometimes you wait until losing is certain, then move faster than reality allows. Mark Andrew Mitscher. Born January 26, 1887, Hillsboro, Wisconsin. At age 7, he watched the 1889 Oklahoma land rush, thousands racing on horseback to stake claims on unclaimed prairie. He learned, being first matters more than being careful. That willingness to push past boundaries defined everything that followed. But to understand how a short farm kid became the deadliest carrier admiral in history, you need to know what made him different. June 1906, U.S. Naval Academy, Annapolis. 18-year-old Marc Mitscher reports as a plebe. He's 5'7", 135 pounds, quiet, bordering on sullen. His father wanted older brother Tom to attend, but Tom was too young. Mark got the appointment by default, second choice in his own family. The academy is brutal. Mitscher struggles with mathematics, navigation, engineering. By spring 1907, he ranks 129th out of 131. The academy dismisses him for academic deficiency. Most would go home in disgrace. Mitscher reapplies. His father pulls strings. The academy readmits him on condition. Repeat his entire first year as a plebe while former classmates advance. Humiliating. Mitscher endures. June 3, 1910, 6 years after starting, he graduates 113th out of 131. While brilliant midshipmen breezed through in 4 years, Mitscher spent 6 learning what they never would. You don't need to be smartest to win. You just need to refuse to quit. That stubbornness would matter soon. June 2, 1916, Naval Air Station Pensacola, Florida. Lieutenant Mitscher, 29, stares at a Curtiss N9 seaplane, fabric wings, exposed engine, open cockpit. He's bored with battleships. Naval aviation is experimental, dangerous, considered a sideshow. Aircraft carriers don't exist. Most officers believe airplanes are only useful for scouting. Pilots die regularly. Engine failures, crashes, no parachutes. When the Navy requests volunteers, most decline. Mitscher volunteers immediately. Flight training terrifies. The N9's rotary engine sprays castor oil in his face. The aircraft stalls without warning. Controls are mushy. Instructors demonstrate, then push students to solo after 5 hours. Mitscher struggles with landings, judges altitude poorly, bounces on touchdown, nearly flips twice. But he persists. June 2, 1916, he receives Naval Aviator number 33. Only 32 pilots in the entire U.S. Navy are senior. He's not a natural pilot. Instructors note his technique is adequate, but lacking finesse. But Mitscher sees what others miss. Whoever masters carrier aviation first controls the next war. While battleship admirals call airplanes toys, Mitscher learns how aircraft hunt ships. May 16, 1919. Trepassey Bay, Newfoundland. 3 Curtiss NC flying boats prepare for the Navy's attempt to fly across the Atlantic. No one has done this. Most experts say it's impossible. Too far, too dangerous. Lieutenant Commander Mitscher, 32, pilots NC-1. The plan: fly 1,200 miles to the Azores, refuel, continue to Portugal. At 10:00 a.m., 3 flying boats lift off. They fly in formation, navigating by compass and dead reckoning. No radio navigation, no GPS, no weather forecasts. After 15 hours, they hit fog so thick Mitscher can't see his wingtips. Flying blind on primitive instruments, at night, over the North Atlantic. Without a horizon, he loses orientation. The aircraft spirals downward. He pulls back, fighting for control. The altimeter shows 200 feet, then 100, then 50. He breaks out at 50 feet above black water, wings shaking. His navigator shakes his head, no idea where they are. Dawn breaks, no land, fuel nearly gone. At 9:15 a.m., May 17th, the engines die. Mitscher ditches NC-1 in 12-foot swells, 200 miles short of the Azores. The aircraft breaks apart. Mitscher and 5 crew cling to wreckage for 63 hours, soaked, freezing. When USS Gridley finds them, Mitscher is unconscious from hypothermia. The other 2 aircraft fail. Only NC-4 completes the crossing. The Navy awards Mitscher his first Navy Cross, not for succeeding, for attempting. April 18, 1942. USS Hornet, 650 nautical miles east of Tokyo. Captain Mitscher, 55, commands the carrier. Strapped to his deck, 16 Army B-25 bombers. Twin-engine aircraft never designed for carriers. Their wingspan exceeds deck width. Mission: bomb Tokyo in retaliation for Pearl Harbor. Fly to China, bail out. One-way suicide mission. The bombers cannot return to Hornet. At 5:58 a.m., lookouts spot a Japanese patrol boat. The picket radios Tokyo. American carriers approaching. Surprise is gone. The task force is 170 miles farther from Japan than planned. Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Doolittle climbs to the bridge. We've been spotted. Request permission to launch immediately. Mitscher calculates. Early launch means 170 fewer miles of fuel, fewer crews reach China, more deaths. But staying means Japanese bombers find Hornet within hours. Mitscher looks at Doolittle. They're your planes, Colonel. You decide. Doolittle nods. Mitscher orders Hornet to flank speed. 33 knots into a 30-knot gale, generating 63 knots of wind over deck. At 8:20 a.m., Doolittle's B-25 roars down the deck and claws skyward. All 16 launch successfully. 15 crews survive. Mitscher earns his second Navy Cross for understanding sometimes the mission isn't survival. It's proving you'll strike back regardless of cost. January 6, 1944. Pearl Harbor. Rear Admiral Mitscher takes command of Task Force 58, 15 carriers, 7 battleships, 8 cruisers, 68 destroyers, 900 aircraft, 100,000 men. The most powerful naval formation ever assembled. Most admirals focus on ship formations, gunnery, surface tactics. Mitscher focuses on mathematics, launch rates, aircraft per carrier per minute, recovery rates, fuel consumption per patrol hour, attrition per 1,000 sorties. He realizes something revolutionary. With radar and radio, he can stack fighters at multiple altitudes and vector them onto incoming raids like three-dimensional chess. He can intercept 60 miles out, far enough that survivors arrive disorganized, low on fuel, easy kills. By June 1944, Mitscher has flown 22,432 sorties, lost only 268 aircraft to enemy fighters. He's proving carriers don't support battleships. Carriers are the new battleships. By June 18, 1944, Mitscher had burned Truk, bombed Palau, destroyed 600 Japanese land-based aircraft, covered Marine landings on Saipan. His task force ruled 1,000 miles of ocean, but nothing compared to what happened next. June 19, 1944, 10:00 a.m. This is how he broke Japan. Returned at 10:23 a.m., June 19, 1944. Now we understand context. 3 days earlier, June 15th, Marines stormed Saipan. Capturing Saipan puts B-29 bombers within range of Tokyo. Existential threat. Admiral Somu Toyota orders the mobile fleet to destroy American carriers. Vice Admiral Jisaburo Ozawa commands 9 carriers, 5 battleships, 450 carrier aircraft, plus 300 land-based aircraft on Guam, Rota, Tinian. Ozawa's plan is mathematically elegant. His A6M Zero fighters have 350-mile combat radius. American F6F Hellcats have 250-mile radius. Ozawa strikes from 300 miles, beyond American counterattack range. His aircraft bomb the carriers, fly to Guam to refuel, attack again. Brilliant plan with 3 fatal flaws. First, American intelligence captured Operation Ago in March 1944 when Admiral Koga's aircraft crashed carrying Z-Plan documents. Filipino guerrillas recovered the briefcase, delivered it to MacArthur, who sent it to Nimitz, who forwarded to Mitscher. Mitscher knows Ozawa's plan before Ozawa executes it. Second, Ozawa's pilots are inexperienced. Midway, Coral Sea, and Solomon, losses killed veteran aviators. Fuel shortages mean replacements get 6 months training instead of 2 years. Most have never flown combat. They're fighting Americans averaging 300 combat hours. Third, Mitscher has VT proximity fuses, top-secret radar shells detonating within 70 feet of aircraft. Japanese pilots will fly through curtains of explosions. At 5:50 a.m., June 19th, a Japanese search plane finds Task Force 58. The pilot radios coordinates before destroyer Yarnall shoots him down. Ozawa begins launching. At 8:30 a.m., Mitscher's radar detects Japanese aircraft over Guam, land-based bombers preparing to strike. Mitscher launches 30 Hellcats from Belleau Wood. They arrive over a rote field during takeoff. Slaughter. 35 Japanese aircraft destroyed for 1 Hellcat lost. At 9:57 a.m., radar detects massive formation approaching west. Range, 150 miles. Contacts, 68 aircraft. Raid 1. Mitscher faces his decision. Doctrine says launch immediately, intercept at maximum range. But Mitscher calculates differently. Launch now, fighters intercept at 100 miles. Japanese spot them, turn back, regroup, launch better attack. But if he waits, lets them commit, they can't retreat without losing formation. So he waits. His staff sweats. Commander Truman heading, Admiral, contacts at 70 miles. Mitscher nods silently. Arleigh Burke, Admiral, request we come about and launch. Mitscher shakes his head. Not yet. Contacts close to 60 miles. 50. Radar shows Japanese circling, organizing. Mitscher counts seconds. 10:23 a.m. Range, 70 miles. Time, 18 minutes. Mitscher turns to his flag captain. Turn into wind. Launch everything airborne. Across 15 carriers, organized into 4 task groups spanning 30 miles, the order electrifies. Bosun's whistles shriek. Flight quarters, all pilots man aircraft. On Lexington's deck, plane handlers sprint. F6F Hellcats sit with wings folded, packed nose to tail. Handlers yank wingfold pins. Massive wings swing down, lock with metallic clangs. Plane captains hit starters. Wright R-2800 engines cough, backfire, roar to 2,000 RPM. Exhaust and high-octane smell floods the deck. Deck crews wheel aircraft forward. Launch officers in yellow jerseys windmill arms. 1st Hellcat, Commander David McCampbell, rolls forward, throttle full. Launch officer drops his flag. Catapult fires with hydraulic slam. McCampbell rockets forward at 4 Gs, hurls off the bow at 90 meters. Wheels retract as he banks left. Behind him, another Hellcat rolls up. Launch interval, 30 seconds. On all 15 carriers simultaneously, the choreography repeats. By 10:26, 3 minutes after order, 60 fighters airborne. By 10:30, 120. By 10:36, all 240 Hellcats climb through 10,000 feet, throttles firewalled, radios crackling with vectors. Aboard Lexington, in darkened Combat Information Center, radar operators watch green screens showing converging formations. Lieutenant Joseph Eggert keys radio, Blackjack leader, Vector 280, Angels 20, Bogies 50 miles. Hellcats split, some climbing to 25,000 feet for high cover, some at 15,000 for direct intercept, some descending to 10,000 to catch low-altitude attackers. The geometry is perfect. Three-dimensional chess. At 10:36, 13 minutes after initial order, 1st Hellcats intercept Raid 1 at 70 miles. Japanese formation still circling, organizing bomber sections with fighter escort. Fatal delay. Commander Charles Brewer spots them at 18,000 feet. Loose gaggle of Aichi D-3A Val dive bombers with zeros. He keys radio. Tally-ho, bogies 12 o'clock low, 60 plus. Hellcats roll inverted. Dive, building to 400 mm. They slash through vertical attacks. Boom and zoom tactics perfected over 2 years. Brewer lines up a Val, fires 2-second burst from 6 50 caliber machine guns. Tracers converge. The Val's engine explodes. Bomber cartwheels into sea-trailing smoke. 4 minutes. 25 Japanese aircraft burning. Formation disintegrates. Some jettison bombs, run for home. Others try regrouping. Intercepted by secondary Hellcat sections. By 10:45, 41 of original 68 destroyed. Remaining 27 scatter toward American fleet. Now they face the gun line. Mitscher positioned 7 battleships and 8 cruisers in a ring 12 miles outside carriers. Wall of anti-aircraft guns creating interlocking fire. Alabama, Indiana, South Dakota, Washington, 45,000-ton battleships, open fire with 5-inch and 40mm guns. VT proximity fuses turn sky into curtain of black explosions. Japanese pilots fly into shrapnel walls. Some aircraft disintegrate mid-flight. Others veer off trailing smoke. Pilots dead. 4 dive bombers break through, target South Dakota. Captain orders hard left rudder. South Dakota heels 30 degrees. Wake boiling white, all guns firing upward. 3 bombs miss. 4th hits main deck near turret 1, penetrates 2 levels, explodes in berthing compartment. Blast kills 27 sailors. Wounds 23. Fires break out. Damage control floods compartment. Seals bulkheads. South Dakota stays in formation. Guns firing, speed undiminished. Of 68 aircraft in Raid 1, 20 return. 11:07 a.m. Raid 2 on radar. 107 aircraft, northwest approach. Mitscher's controllers vector fresh Hellcats. Cappy meets them at 60 miles. Japanese pilots flying first combat missions. Many freeze seeing Hellcats diving. Some forget to arm bombs. Others drop early to run faster. Hellcats shoot down 70 before reaching fleet. 6 break through, attack Admiral Montgomery's group. 2 Vals dive on Wasp. 1 bomb near misses 40 feet off starboard bow. Fragments kill 3 sailors. 4 Kate torpedo bombers try bracketing Enterprise. 1 torpedo runs hot, straight, true, detonates 50 feet astern in wake. Pressure wave rattles ship, no structural damage. Of 107 aircraft, 10 return. 12 p.m. Raid. 3. 47 aircraft approaching north, flying low under radar. Doesn't work. New radar aboard Essex picks them up at 60 miles. 40 Hellcats intercept at 50 miles. Wave top altitude. Low dogfight is savage. Japanese scatter, some fly into ocean evading. 7 press attacks, all miss. 40 survivors flee toward Guam. Meanwhile, Raid 4, 82 aircraft, launched but got incorrect coordinates. Strike searches 90 minutes, burning fuel, never finds fleet. Low on gas, desperate, they turned toward Guam and Rota. But Mitscher sent Hellcat patrols over island airfields. As Japanese circle to land, gear down, flaps down, vulnerable, Americans attack from above. Not combat, execution. 30 shot down over Orode Field, 18 more over Rota. Survivors land damaged, out of ammunition, nearly dry tanks. Ground crews find over half too damaged to fly again. 2 p.m. Air battle ends. Mitscher stands on Lexington's bridge, watching plot table. Staff tallies, 4 raids, 326 aircraft launched, fewer than 50 returned. American losses, 29 aircraft, 23 pilots. Kill ratio, 11-1, incomprehensible. But Mitscher doesn't celebrate. Ozawa's carrier's still out there, steaming west. He requests permission from Admiral Spruance to chase immediately. Launch dawn strike, finish the fleet. Spruance refuses. Orders from Nimitz explicit. Protect Saipan amphibious force. Don't let Japanese slip around. Attack invasion transports. Mitscher accepts without comment. His jaw tightens. Burke recalls, never seen the Admiral that angry. Mitscher posts every scout searching westward. Then submarines deliver killing blows. At 8:16 a.m., during air battle, USS Albacore fired 6 torpedoes at carrier Taiho, Ozawa's flagship. 1 hit, ruptured fuel tanks. Damage seemed minor. Taiho continued operating, launching aircraft, but gasoline vapor filled hangar decks. At 3:32 p.m., 7 hours after hit, single spark ignites vapor. Taiho explodes. Carrier's armored flight deck, designed to survive 500-pound bombs, blows off in sections. Ship rolls over, sinks minutes later. 1,650 men die. Ozawa escapes to cruiser. At 12:20 p.m., USS Kavala fired 6 torpedoes at carrier Shokaku, Pearl Harbor veteran. 3 hit. Carrier caught fire immediately. Fuel lines ruptured, feeding flames. At 3:01 p.m., Shokaku exploded catastrophically, sank in 4 minutes. 1,263 men killed. By sunset, Japanese lost 3 carriers, 550 aircraft, over 4,000 men. American losses, 29 aircraft, 109 men. Mitscher turns to Burke. Send to all ships. Well done. But he's not finished. He wants to chase. Spruance finally agrees. Tomorrow they hunt, June 20th, 1944. 4:02 p.m. After 28 hours searching, Mitscher's scouts locate Ozawa's fleeing carriers, 275 miles west, near aircraft range limit, late afternoon. Launch now means strike arrives dusk, returns in darkness. Carrier night recoveries nearly suicidal. Pilots can't see deck, can't judge altitude, can't find carriers in blackout. Mitscher knows this costs 50 to 100 aircraft, maybe 200 pilots. Burke. Admiral, extreme range, night recovery. Mitscher nods. I know, launching anyway. Get the word out. At 4:21 p.m., Mitscher launches 216 aircraft, every bomber and torpedo plane, on 300-mile strike into setting sun. Attack reaches Japanese at 6:40 p.m. in fading twilight. They sink carrier Hio, 2 oilers, damage carriers Zuikaku and Chiyoda. But now, 300 miles from home, fuel gauges empty, flying into darkness. Pilots radio frantically, low fuel, need vector. Some run out, ditch 100 miles out. Others navigate by dead reckoning, hoping to find the task force. At 8:50 p.m., first aircraft arrive over Task Force 58. Can't see anything. Fleet blacked out per doctrine, avoiding submarine attack. Aircraft circle overhead. Fuel on 0. Pilots preparing to ditch. Burke turns to Mitscher. Admiral, we're losing them. Mitscher makes instant decision, violating every security protocol. Mitscher turns to signal officer. Turn on the lights. No one moves. Lighting the fleet means every Japanese submarine within 50 miles can target them. Every bomber can locate them. Burke repeats, turn on the lights, now. Across Task Force 58, 15 carriers, 7 battleships, 13 cruisers, 68 destroyers, every light switches on simultaneously. Masthead lights, flight deck lights, truck lights, searchlights stabbing skyward, destroyers' Firestar shells bursting overhead, turning night into day. Fleet becomes glowing city on black water, visible 50 miles. Pilots 100 miles away see the glow, turn toward it. For 45 minutes, carriers recover aircraft in blazing light, all guns manned, expecting torpedo attack. Pilots land on any carrier they find. Enterprise aircraft on Lexington, Hornet aircraft on Yorktown. Some crash, too exhausted. Some land with fumes in tanks, engines dying as they stop. Lights extinguish at 9:45 p.m. 80 aircraft still missing, ditched in ocean. Destroyers fan out through night, rescuing pilots in life rafts. By dawn, they've recovered 76 men. Only 49 pilots die. Mitscher's decision saves 150 lives. August 1944, Task Force 58 raids Philippines. Mitscher launches strikes against Luzon, destroys 300 aircraft on ground in 3 days. But no Japanese fighters rise to challenge. Japan's naval aviation is finished. Pilots dead. Carriers in port with empty decks. From June 1944 to war's end, September 1945, Japanese carriers never conduct another major offensive. They become floating targets. At Leyte Gulf, October 1944, Japan sends 4 carriers south as decoys, empty shells with skeleton air groups to lure Americans away. The decoys work, proving the point. Japanese carrier aviation died June 19, 1944. February 3, 1947. Norfolk Naval Base. Vice Admiral Mitscher, age 60, suffers massive heart attack, dies. 4 years carrier combat, 41 years Navy, 6 years Annapolis, his body gives out. Buried Arlington National Cemetery, Section 2. Grave 4942, full military honors. 4 destroyers, later named USS Mitscher. But outside naval circles, his name fades. History credits Spruance for Philippine Sea victory. Mitscher, who launched fighters, directed interceptions, lit the lights, gets footnotes. The man who broke Japanese naval aviation is forgotten within a generation. Some stories don't fit on headstones. There are 2 ways to tell this story. First, superior American technology and numbers crushed inferior Japanese pilots. True, but it misses something. At 10:23 a.m., June 19, 1944, Mitscher chose launch early, safe option, or wait until enemy close to knife range and risk annihilation. Doctrine said launch early. Self-preservation said launch early. Mitscher waited, not from courage, from mathematics. He calculated 3 extra minutes of patience would destroy 100 more enemy aircraft. He was right. Those 3 minutes ended Japanese naval aviation. The story isn't technology. It's a man who graduated 113th out of 131, crashed in the Atlantic, launched Doolittle on a suicide run, who learned winning isn't about being fastest or smartest. Mitscher once asked, "Are you willing to take the risk your training says is insane because the math says it's right?" That question echoes in every decision where safety and victory aren't the same. Some men follow doctrine. Some men write it. Mitscher was 5'7", quiet, terrible at school. But June 19, 1944, he launched 240 fighters in 13 minutes, shot down 350 enemy aircraft, broke an empire. Because 37 years earlier, a kid from Oklahoma decided failing wouldn't stop him. Some things you never stop being.